All right, you guys, here's an overview of the land on the Pine River. Um, some cool things found out today. There's actually a gated road that accesses a lot of these properties back here, so that's good. That's where I came in. There's Gary Pomeroy's place, and I was mistaken. This is actually where the corner of the property is. Through this. Okay, where that blue dot is where this next video starts. It is a property that has a lot of topography. So the southern border of this property is curved because it follows this creek bed, which is a ravine. And that creek flows into the pine. And on top up here, there's a very defined trail that goes along this ravine ridge. And pretty clear that the neighbors use this trail to access the river. It's probably the best property to access the Pine River amongst all of the 5 or 6 properties around here. There is a house that is right to the north of the property. It is a stick-built house. It is not a manufactured home. And it's in great shape. And there's not a bunch of junk in the yard, which is a super bonus. But here we are right at the tip of the ravine ridge, and you can see the river from up here. There's the pine right there. So according to onX, I think this flat land down there is part of the land, and that's the start of the peninsula out there. And there is a creek that flows on the southern border. I'm about halfway down from where I'd stopped that last video, down to the creek. All right, so this is very close to the southwestern edge of the property. Here's this nice meandering creek that goes up that ravine. There's the top of the hill that I just came from. Not too bad getting down here. And it is flat down here by the river. So let's walk over to the river. Definitely defined deer tracks. All right, so this is basically the frontage that this lot has. Goes past this fallen tree here. Nice bend. Pretty steep to get up there, but right at the top there is that house. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little part of it. That's our neighbor to the north, but the corner of this lot is basically right past this fallen tree. And then this is going the other way on the frontage, walking towards the peninsula. Here's the peninsula up there. Okay, so here is the accelerated walk to the tip of the peninsula. There's quite a bit of up and down topography that happens right away. But you can see that, both sides of the river are deep and not too far apart. It's a really cool section of the river. And then as you get to the tip, it is amazing because it totally flattens out and is like the perfect camping situation down here. The big deep bend at the end there. I thought it was interesting. There is a power line that runs over on the other side there. But all right, so this is heading back from the peninsula. Now going back towards the land from the tip of the peninsula. The river to the left, the river to the right, and I would say that it's a very manageable 1 minute walk to take your tube back to the put-in, and then probably a 20-minute float to get back down to here. This would be a great thing to lap. So this is on the southwest corner of the lot. There's the creek down there. That marks the corner of the lot. There's the river through the creek bed. Goes straight over to the river there, and then it's all this flat land down here. So definitely room to set up a camp down here. I don't know what the soil's like, but... All right, this is going up the hill, back up to the top, to the building site. So it really isn't too bad. I mean, you could do switchbacks. This was very slippery snow, and I was able to do it while holding a phone. But you'd probably want to do some type of improved trail or eventually some stairs for sure. But not crazy. All right, so here's the neighbor to the north. The property line's pretty much right in this ravine that runs down to the river. There's a river down there. There's where we just came from, the peninsula. And then here is all the flat land that is pretty much looking up the northern border. But all of this seems to be high and dry. Some big mature trees that you could keep in there. There is sort of a clearing going on over there that might be an easy place to build, or you could build up right next to the ravine and have a lot of privacy with a stairway down to the river. These people do have a road that comes right here. And I believe that this right here is the edge of our property. So there you have it. Here is an aerial view. This is from the very top of the property, and then as it slopes down, and then I'll fly down the peninsula. Super cool section of the Pine River that curves just a ton. And really doesn't get a lot of pressure because most people float from Dobson Bridge downstream, and this is above Dobson Bridge. But yeah, great piece of property. The great mystery is, can we somehow get easement access to this? So yeah, let me know what you think.